And for each abandoned, there is a story to match the picture of personal defeat. Some have been thrown from their bikes one time more than endurance will allow. But attrition in Paris-Roubaix is not joined by embarrassment. There is respect and applause for those who would dare pursue the course even this far. The spoils in the mad race across cobblestones, the bikes are carted off like so much antique hardware. And the athletes scooped up by a van known as the broom wagon, sweeping the cyclists away to the finish line while still leaving the badge of filth that will follow them into the shower room. Pack it all up and then put away the dreams of finishing Paris-Roubaix. And now, a full 7 minutes behind the lead group entering Valenciennes is the chase group. And they'll snatch up their meals like those before them. But their box lunch on a bicycle will be consumed now in the pouring rain. Riding along with them is a chance to experience firsthand the desperate yet almost comic ritual of catching supper and then racing a bicycle with both hands off the handlebars. And they'll need the food for strength, because as they leave the mining town of Valenciennes, ahead is the Arenberg forest. It was here last year, in this narrow tree-lined corridor, where the race was decided as a horde of athletes bowed to the huge stones in crippling crashes. Already thousands of fans have gathered in the Arenberg today, braving the miserable weather to share the drama that approaches. They wait for the men who have hung on through the rain, the mud, and the staggering falls. Men like defending champion Sean Kelly, who last year conquered the Arenberg, and men like American Greg LeMond, who fell headfirst last year in the forest along with the rest of his team and had to drop from the race. This tour through hell would not be complete without the trip through the forest of Arenberg. Riders in the Paris-Roubaix Bike Classic, now in single file pointed toward the forest of Arenberg. And waiting there is my colleague Phil Liggett.
Well, on any normal Sunday afternoon, the forest of Arenberg really is quite nice. It's pretty, it's peaceful, and it's tranquil. But not so today, of course, because when the race gets here, the riders will have done already 100 miles. Everybody had heard of the forest a year ago because 70 riders crashed as they came into this forest. And those riders, of course, didn't finish the race. Others went on to win from this very point. And that's the reason for all these people today. They've come to see just what will happen in Paris-Roubaix.
And as the huge crowd lean forward, hoping to see a Frenchman ahead, they're not disappointed as MADIOT leads onto the evil stones of Arenberg, tailed by DEROY of Holland. The remnants of the original escaping group fight to hang on. But disaster strikes as MADIOT punctures. Now you can see how important a mechanic is. That's when he's there. DEROY keeps working hard, knowing now that if he can clear this section of cobbles, there's a chance to shape the course of the race. MADIOT is left in the wings, still hoping. At 27, DEROY has the stamina, although he isn't seen as a potential winner. At this point, he could do with some help, and it's on the way. The cheers are for MADIOT, racing back to the front line.
Behind the leaders comes the chase group. And as they embrace the forest, the narrow passage now becomes clogged and confused with more riders. The road through the Arenberg too narrow for support cars to pass, so it's run with the spare parts, or just forget it. The cyclists call it the trench, and they'll tell you the only reason race organizers include it is to force head-first crashes. The chase group has now cut the time deficit to 5 minutes as the riders race while trying to engineer safe escape from the Arenberg. Escape artist, the Flying Dutchman, DEROY, has long since left Arenberg, but has not shed too close behind. Yvonne Madio and Henri Manders. Manders and Madio are from different teams, but will work together to catch the leader, DEROY. Behind those three, the front runners of the chase group can see dim light at the end of the dark forest corridor. Out of the Arenberg and into the town of Wall.